You are listening to Ablaze Bible Reflections. Today's passage is Luke chapter 20, verses 1 to 19, read by Isioma. The Scapegoating Mechanism. As I sat with Luke chapter 20, my mind returned to our recent Bible study, where we reflected on the theme of rivalry and scapegoating. Scapegoating happens every day, and it often starts from something good. Someone stands out, does something well, and becomes a model. People admire them, want to be like them, and stay close to them. At this stage, everything is positive and healthy. The person is seen as good, their actions are appreciated, and their example inspires others. This can happen at work, in school, in families, or in church. It begins with admiration and a desire to imitate. Nothing is wrong at this level. It is natural and even good. The shift begins when people start comparing themselves with that person. They notice that what they struggle to do seems easy for the other person. They see calmness and confidence where they themselves feel pressure and strain. This creates discomfort within them. Instead of learning or asking for help, they begin to measure themselves against that person. Questions begin to rise. Why is it easy for them and not for me? The focus moves from growth to comparison. That simple change begins to affect how they see and characterize the person. Admiration starts to weaken because comparison is now in control. From comparison, insecurity grows quickly and turns into envy. The person who was admired is now questioned and distrusted. People begin to say that the person does not deserve what they have. They suggest it is because of privilege, favor, or some hidden advantage. They begin to explain away the person's success. What was once seen as good is now seen as unfair. The mindset has shifted completely. The same person is now viewed with suspicion instead of respect. Admiration has now turned into personal rivalry. Rivalry spreads fast and does not stay private. The person who feels threatened starts talking and brings others into it. They say things like, "Do you really know this person? Or do you know their story? Be careful what you say or do around them." They share things that are not verified, and others pass them on. More people begin to believe it without checking. Slowly, the atmosphere changes. Trust breaks down and suspicion grows. The person is no longer seen as a model or admirable figure, but only through rumors. What started as one person's feeling, with an underlying personal grudge, has now become a group mindset. Now, the person becomes the scapegoat. Everything is blamed on them, even things they had nothing to do with. They are seen as the reason for problems, failures, and frustrations. They are viewed as obstacles to other people's progress and a danger that must be neutralized. Sometimes people demonize them and accuse them of having evil spirits. The group finds it easier to point at one person than to look at themselves. Blaming one person brings them together and creates a false sense of unity. The focus is no longer truth. It is finding someone to carry the blame. The person becomes the center of all negative attention. This is where scapegoating is fully formed. From here, the group moves to remove the person. This is the stage of sacrifice. It can happen through malicious words, collective rejection, social exclusion, or cutting the person off from opportunities. People avoid them, speak against them, or isolate them. The belief is that once the person is gone, everything will be fine. Once we succeed in bringing them down, all our problems will be over. Everyone feels justified in doing this. They characterize their actions as just and godly, yet never look inward at their own shortcomings and history of sin. It feels like the right solution to them. The person is treated as the problem that must be eliminated. This is how the process reaches its peak. This is exactly what happened to Jesus. He was admired, followed, and listened to. Then people questioned his authority. After that, They accused him of using evil power and of driving out demons by the power of Beelzebub. His popularity threatened them. His widespread fame unsettled them. He ate with tax collectors and associated with the rich. He spent time with prostitutes and women of easy virtue. He broke the law and encouraged others to do the same, insinuating that he was like Socrates, corrupting the young. The list goes on and on. In the parable of the vineyard in Luke chapter 20, verses 9 to 19, Jesus explains this clearly. It begins with a master who owns a vineyard, something valuable that many would want to be part of. He entrusts it to workers and gives them responsibility, allowing them to share in the work and benefit from it. At the proper time, he sends his servants to collect what is due to him. But instead of honoring him, the workers reject them. They beat the servants, send them away empty-handed, and refuse to give what belongs to the owner. Finally, the master sends his son, thinking they will respect him, but they kill him instead, hoping to take everything for themselves. The people who received everything turn against the one who gave them everything. The same pattern is repeated step by step. What happens to him is the clearest example of this scapegoat mechanism. It must be noted that in some cases, the victim carries some fault or partial responsibility. That can happen. But what we see in scapegoating is that this small fault is blown out of proportion. It is stretched, repeated, and magnified until it no longer reflects the truth. Very quickly, everything begins to be placed on that person. They are blamed not only for what they may have done, but for many other things they have nothing to do with. Another striking part of this process is what happens within the group itself, as seen in what happened to Jesus, especially in how Pilate and Herod, who were not united before, came together over him. As the blame is placed on the victim, a kind of unity forms among those involved. People who may not even be close or who have major differences come together around this one shared focus. Jesus became the center of their conversations, their thoughts, and their attention. This created a strong but fragile unity, built not on truth or real relationship, but on a common target. In the case of Jesus, this is even clearer because he was completely innocent. There was nothing wrong in him that could justify what was done to him. Still, he was accused, rejected, and condemned. On the cross, this truth is revealed openly. The victim is innocent and the crowd is wrong. The group that believed it was justified is shown to be guilty. What they presented as justice is exposed as injustice. This leads to one clear question. Where do I stand in this? I may know someone who has been scapegoated. It may have happened to me, or to my child, or a friend. I may also have taken part in it by listening, repeating, or agreeing without knowing the truth. This is a moment to be honest, to ask for mercy and forgiveness where needed, to choose not to join in without thinking, and to stand for truth even when it's uncomfortable. On the cross, Christ says, "It is finished." He ends the cycle of blame and violence. He calls us to put away our swords, to stop attacking one another, and to walk a different path. Not a path of accusation or blame, but one of peace, truth, and love. Instead of uniting against someone, he invites us to unite in him. God sees all, and in Christ we are called to live differently. God bless you. Stay close to the Word. The Ablaze Team.